He's an alcoholic. He has already been accused of a drunken sexual assault. In Hegseth's defense, none of the sources could recall an instance when Hegseth missed a scheduled appearance because he'd been drinking, including one episode where Hegseth had to be restrained while drunk from joining the dancers on the stage of a Louisiana strip club.
Ever wonder what happens when you mix booze and nukes? Apparently, Trump thinks it's a winning combo for his defense secretary pick.
Stephen Colbert just dropped a truth bomb on Pete Hegseth, exposing the Fox News host's alleged drinking problem. But wait, there's more. Trump's plan B might just be Ron Don't Say Gay DeSantis. Talk about out of the frying pan and into the dumpster fire. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. So Colbert's got the tea on Pete Hegseth, and it's strong enough to knock you off your bar stool. Turns out Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense might have a little problem with the bottle. Who is this Hegseth guy, you ask? Well, he's the co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend. You know, that show Trump watches religiously while tweeting from the toilet.
According to an NBC report, Pete Hegseth drinking worried colleagues at Fox News. Speaking of Trump stuffing nominees up his cabinet, we keep finding out more upsetting stuff about his pick to head the Department of Defense, that Hegseth may have a slight work problem when he shows up at drinking.
Trump wants Hegseth for the big defense job, probably because he saw him on TV and thought, hey, that guy looks good holding a coffee mug. Let's give him the nuclear codes. But here's where it gets juicy. Word on the street is that Hegseth might be more interested in holding something a little stronger than coffee.
Apparently, the reports of the drinky drink are making Trump doing the thinky think. He was sober when he did this.
Who's going to win this battle of the lumberjacks?
It works for him. In case you didn't know, having a Secretary of Defense who cannot stay sober might be bad.
Anonymous sources at Fox News claim they've smelled booze on Hegseth before he goes on air. Multiple times. Yikes. Can you imagine trying to hide your hangover while millions of people watch you? It's like trying to act sober at Thanksgiving dinner, but with the whole country as your judgmental relatives. Colbert, being the comedy genius he is, couldn't resist poking fun at the situation. He joked that the early morning time slot of Fox and Friends Weekend might explain why some hosts seem a bit off.
You might think about a new Secretary of Defense because things are looking not good for current SecDef nominee, Fox News host, and 4-year-old who was allowed to dress himself today, Pete Hegseth. Reportedly, Pete's a bit of a workaholic. Hegseth's nomination has been in trouble from the beginning. Trump only knew about Hegseth from seeing him on TV.
Champagne is my problem when it comes to hangovers, Colbert quipped. He even suggested Hegseth's drinking strategy might be to keep drinking until the problem goes away. Hey, you can't be hungover if you never stop drinking, right? But the real kicker was Colbert's mock ad for Hegseth. Picture this. It's 3 a.m., your kids are asleep, and the phone rings. Who do you want answering that call?
He's an alcoholic. He has already been accused of a drunken sexual assault. In Hegseth's defense, none of the sources could recall an instance when Hegseth missed a scheduled appearance because he'd been drinking, including one episode where Hegseth had to be restrained while drunk from joining the dancers on the stage of a Louisiana strip club.
According to Colbert's ad, it's Pete, drinking Baileys out of my third wife's shoes. Now that's what I call national security. The fake ad hit home, highlighting just how bonkers it would be to have a potentially boozy Secretary of Defense. I mean, mixing cocktails and nuclear launch codes? That's a recipe for disaster that even Gordon Ramsay couldn't save.
He's right, he doesn't have a drinking problem, he just keeps drinking and the problem goes away. Hegseth was repeatedly intoxicated in his official capacity as the president of Concerned Veterans of America. Today, Hegseth forswore on the job drinking, saying, "This is the biggest deployment of my life."
But hold on to your sobriety coins, folks, because this cabinet drama is far from over. Trump's got a plan B, and spoiler alert, it might be even worse than plan A. Stay tuned to find out who's next in line for this political hot potato. Hold on to your MAGA hats, folks. Trump's backup plan for Secretary of Defense is so bonkers, it makes Pete Hegseth look like a Nobel Peace Prize winner. What could possibly be worse than a potentially tipsy TV host? 2 words, Ron DeSantis. And trust me, Colbert's got some choice words for this Florida firebrand. So who's this DeSantis guy? Well, he's the governor of Florida and Trump's new favorite toy soldier, unlike Hegseth.
While DeSantis actually has some defense qualifications, the replacement isn't a done deal. Instead, Trump is mulling replacing Hegseth with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis,
whose main qualification seems to be looking good on TV. DeSantis actually has some military cred. He served as a Navy lawyer, which is like being a regular lawyer but with more seasickness. But here's the kicker. DeSantis might know his way around a courtroom, but his track record as governor is about as impressive as a wet firecracker. Remember when he thought banning math books was a good idea? Yeah, that happened. It's like he's allergic to numbers or something. Maybe he's worried the kids will learn how to count his mistakes. Colbert couldn't resist taking a swing at DeSantis' COVID response. He joked that DeSantis' idea of pandemic control was telling the virus to go back to where it came from. Real effective strategy there, Ronnie. About as useful as a chocolate teapot. But the real gem came when Colbert imagined DeSantis as Secretary of Defense. He quipped, "Sure, he's got military experience, but his policies are like a hurricane of bad decisions. Do we really want a guy who fights science to be in charge of our nuclear arsenal?" As for Trump's judgment in picking these guys, well, Colbert summed it up perfectly. It's like he's playing pin the tail on the donkey, but instead of a donkey, it's America's future, and instead of a tail, it's a stick of dynamite. So there you have it, folks. Trump's cabinet picks are like a game of political hot potato, except the potato is on fire and covered in nuclear waste. From boozy TV hosts to governors who think math is optional, it's a real who's who of who thought this was a good idea. Stay tuned for more of Colbert's takedowns, because in this circus, the clowns just keep on coming. So there you have it, folks. Stephen Colbert just took Trump's cabinet picks and turned them into a comedy goldmine. From Hegseth's alleged boozy shenanigans to DeSantis' math-phobic policies, it's like Trump's playing eeny, meeny, miny, mo with America's future. Nick Colbert wrapped it up with a zinger that'll make you spit out your kafef. He said Trump's decision-making is like a toddler picking his nose and eating it. Gross, inexplicable, and potentially dangerous for everyone around him. Ouch. But hey, as long as Trump keeps serving up these political facepalms, Colbert will be there to roast him. So keep your TV remotes handy and your BS detectors on high alert. Who knows what bonkers cabinet pick Trump will pull out of his MAGA hat next? Stay tuned, cause this political roller coaster ain't slowing down anytime soon.